But this is a former NFL, former Detroit Lions wide receiver, Mark Schmidt. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, guys. Pleasure.
Thanks,
Welcome
Russ.
back to the program, Mark. It's so great to have you.
Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate that.
The reason we wanted you on the show today is because of, obviously, the Aaron Rodgers injury has brought back to the surface this same old thing that's been going on for the last 10 years about artificial turf as opposed to natural grass. And as a player, I know that this is something you can speak on. And we really want to get your thoughts on it because it's all over the chats. It's all over the groups. I got some really good stats here I wanted to throw at you. But before I do that, I wanted to ask you quickly. I know you played at University of Buffalo and you played for the Temple Owls. Were those fields grass or natural turf?
They were. You said natural grass or turf or natural turf. I got you there, Mike. No, they were both artificial. Temple was artificial and Buffalo was artificial.
Okay. And then when you got to the pros, obviously you played in the Pontiac Silverdome, which was also artificial turf, right?
Yeah, artificial. And I did have turf toe and all that stuff. So
those artificial turfs are much different than the artificial turf they play on today, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a little better today. Yeah.
The new turf though still has the same issues as the old turf as it relates to the players. In fact, I know you're very involved with the NFL Players Association. The NFLPA put out a survey where 91% of the players feel more tired and more sore. That's playing on the new turf. So, as opposed to the old turf and the new turf, tell me what were the differences there?
Well, in Buffalo, we played on a sand-based turf, and which was out of the University of Tennessee. They started, but it was real abrasive, and they felt that it gave a lot more. You'd bounce the ball on it, and the sand would pop up. But what happens with sand, Mike? It's abrasive if you slide on it. I mean, we would have to wear all kinds of gear, or if you will, to protect yourself from it. And AstroTurf was just coming out. We had that in Veterans Stadium, and it wasn't real good. You'll remember some of the talk back in the 80s about Veterans Stadium, especially with the Cowboys playing there against the Eagles. So it was not good. It was not good at Buffalo. In the Silverdome, it was okay, but it didn't really give the way it was supposed to. And one of the things that there's the difference, but it's gotten a little bit better, obviously. But what I'm going to explain to you is like with Aaron Rodgers' injury, also the injury to Julian Edelman, in I think it was 17 or 18 when he lost the season. Those were both of those injuries were a situation where if the ground would have given, in Aaron Rodgers' case, and I'm not saying this for sure, but it would have taken a huge divot. Okay, that foot would have gone below the grass level into something called mud. Okay, and that foot, that foot that was implanted there, that had nowhere to go other than the surface of that artificial turf, would have taken a huge divot out and given that Achilles tendon a break, and would have given Julian Edelman's knee a break. Okay, because it would have dug down a little further than that surface, maybe an inch, maybe 2 inches, and taken a huge divot. We all have seen that before, okay? And may have saved that Achilles. I'm not saying he wouldn't have gotten hurt, but maybe it wouldn't have torn. You can't take these chances anymore, guys. They're doing so much in this league to protect the players now, with the helmets, with the equipment, with the rule changes. I mean, you can't have this stuff. It's got to go. It's got to go tomorrow. And if you're saying it's a money issue, that's bullshit. It's not a money issue anymore. It's about 10 guys or 12 guys in a grounds crew. Every time the guys come off the field for a little bit of practice, man, that grounds crew runs out there. They replace the divots. They do this. They do that. I mean, it can't do it. It's all done. And I said about the meeting coming up, I have a big NFLPA meeting. The big guys are in here from Washington, in Buffalo on Monday night for the Monday night game. We're all meeting down in South Buffalo, and all the big local guys are coming out for it too. And they said, "Well, are you guys going to bring up artificial turf in the meeting?" I said, "Well, I'm bringing it up."
Right.
Yeah. Is it going to be brought up? Yeah, because I'm going to do it. So there.
Well, actually, J.C. Treader, president of NFLPA in 2020, called for the ban of AstroTurf, and that's your president of the union calling for a ban on artificial turf. So I think I'm not going to say it's unanimous, but it's overwhelming support to move to natural grass. There are some people, though, who are proponents for AstroTurf, and they say because the players can play so much faster. A lot of players love playing on turf because it's faster. Is that a myth or is that true?
Mike, it's all relative. I mean, because if you're faster, then the other guy's faster. If you're a hair slower, the other guy's a hair slower. I mean, that pretty much answers that. But, I mean, it's all relative. It's so, that doesn't really, that's bullshit. I'm not buying that.
So my personal opinion, Mark, I do believe that this Aaron Rodgers injury is going to be the catalyst that makes this change happen. Okay, I believe we are going to go to natural grass all over the league. We've already seen FIFA in the World Cup in the soccer world already lay down the law. No more artificial turf. And I think that's just the first domino to fall. And now Aaron Rodgers is the next domino to fall. I think we are going to see that. And even in dome stadiums, I think this is a fixable problem. We see out in Arizona, they actually retract the grass, right, for other things. So it can be done. Do you believe the cost of maintaining natural grass in a dome stadium is exorbitantly more than having the artificial turf there all the time?
Yeah, I don't say exorbitantly more. What it is in Arizona, you're asking me where I was a season ticket holder for 7 years. Yeah. What that is, Mike, in Arizona, in Glendale, that is a tray. So I'm going to explain to the folks out there who may not be aware of this because it doesn't get a lot of publicity. The Arizona turf, first of all, it's an 18-inch deep dirt tray. Okay, that is what the base is. So what they're able to do is pull that tray out of that stadium so it gets the proper sun, and then they slide it just like an oven. Okay, they slide that tray back in, that 120-yard tray or 130-yard tray. They slide it back into the stadium for games. I mean, it's amazing what they did, and that's obviously, that they're a little bit ahead of the curve with Mr. Bidwell, of course, who I absolutely loved. You know how I feel about the Bidwells. I had a relationship with the father. I worked in the facility. They were just ahead of the curve, and it can be done in dome stadium. Is it exorbitant? You're asking me, Mike. I don't know. I don't know if it's exorbitantly more expensive. That's be something now. Let's talk about Ford Field, which is a great experience. I mean, I was there. I'm coming down next week for the Falcons, but again, can you do it there? The Ford Field is a wonderful experience, by the way. I want to say that just from an outsider coming in from Buffalo. I know I was on contract here as a player. I understand that, but it was one of the first times that I had really been there was in the last couple of years, and it's a great experience. Great experience. It really is. The way you sit there, the way that the seats are set up, the way that arena is made, and the way that you walk into it. Of course, it's downtown. It's wonderful. But it's on artificial turf. That's the only drawback, is me as being very positive toward that arena. The main drawback is just simply the artificial turf. We get natural grass in that place, baby. Oh, that's just keep it. It's terrific.
Right. Well, certainly a removable tray is probably not an option in Ford Field.
No, because you're going to run into a fucking building downtown.
Right. Right. That's probably not.
You've had enough of that shit.
One thing that I thought was interesting that might relate to you, the Buffalo Bills in their brand new stadium will be playing on natural grass. And has there been any buzz from the players around there excited about that?
No, actually, there's been a little buzz from the owner himself. I put something on Facebook. Oh my gosh, I guess it was about. I'm friends with Terry Pagula, and I put something on there about 6 months ago, and I asked him about natural grass and da. And just to his Facebook, I'm not sure if it was him that maybe because I said I'm an NFL player or something on there, former NFL player, that he may have responded to me. He said, yes. As a matter of fact, we are putting natural grass in there. So that came right from him. If he answers his own Facebook responses and posts, wow. which was kind of interesting. But so they're going to do that, and it's a great plan for them. Mr. Pagula wants the elements as part of the game here in Buffalo. So the fans will be covered. It'll be very similar to the old Texas Stadium, with the opening in the roof, because he wants the elements, he wants the weather, and he wants natural grass. There was a lot of debate here in Buffalo about putting in a dome stadium. A lot of people wanted a dome stadium, but Mr. Pegula did not. And there was a lot of other factors involved in that with the Niagara Frontier Transportation Authorities, and they own the property downtown to put a dome stadium, and it just wasn't big enough, number one. Number two, it just didn't have the support of the owner himself. So they're putting it back in Orchard Park, right next door to the old Highmark Stadium where the Bills play presently.
Right, and those Buffalo fans can continue to suffer in the elements.
That's a dig.
Maybe a little.
That's a little dig. That's a little dig.
Well, hey, you remember the game last year where there were snowbanks in the aisles of the stadium? So you would think that they would say, maybe we don't want to do this anymore. But hey, it's all part of the experience, and that's what makes Buffalo such a great football town. Yeah. And I think it's gonna be great. I've seen the drawings of the new stadium. It looks incredible. I
live and die with the Detroit Lions, and that's the way it's always going to be. But I get a chance to do some podcasts here, and podcasts, of course, in Detroit. And if these two teams end up in the Super Bowl, oh man, I tell you what, I'll be one busy guy.
Well, 16 teams already play on natural grass. We saw the first artificial turf, of course, in Houston in 1966. The Oilers started playing in '68. So AstroTurf's been around for a long time, but we're seeing this gradual progression. And I know it's not something that can be done overnight, but I think we'll all be glad to see natural grass on every NFL field someday.